Grab your thinking caps and be ready to build train routes for commuters, tourists, and goods and create a futuristic train paradise. Welcome to Traintopia, a tile/component laying game. The game here is almost set, with each player getting a random starting tile, a random objective, and a random player aid. The one with the conductor will denote that player as the starting player. These tiles in the row will be specially marked by this blue border. You'll draw tiles equal to double the amount of players, and starting with the last player and going counterclockwise, you'll snake draft the revealed tiles one at a time so as to have two placed next to your starting one. I guess this is the perfect time to talk about tile placement. You can rotate the tile however you want and place it in such a way that at least half of its side touches another tile without overlapping any. You cannot have dead ends unless the tracks finish with a blue or red station, and no loops are allowed. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about game rounds. The starting player will draw and flip the top round card. This will tell you what to place here, usually drawing a random commuter here and how many tiles are flipped depending on player count. Then, starting with him and going clockwise, you'll draft one wooden element or tile and immediately place them in your network. When all but one element remains, wooden or tile, remove it and we go into the cleanup phase. Pass the commuter bag to the next player clockwise, making them the starting player for this coming round, and flip over the new round card. If this was the last card, we go to the endgame scoring. But before we go there, let's look at some of the elements and pieces in the game. When placing commuters on the track, you'll score points equal to the matching colored neighborhoods that track goes through. Each track cannot have more than one of the same colored commuters on it. Tourists will score points equal as listed on attractions that are adjacent to the track he's placed on. Again, only one tourist per track. Mailbags and trains will not score you immediate points as the commuters or tourists do, but will score for the end game scoring. We'll get to them later. Lastly, when placing a tile, you might get some money. You can spend up to 3 money tokens during your turn to buy yourself perks for 1 each. You can perform these perks once per turn for each money token spent. You can buy a special tile and immediately place it. Change the commuter's color to any other when drafting him. Yes, meaning you could score gray twice, but you still only have 1 gray commuter per track. Or buy yourself a new objective card, looking at it and choosing to keep 1. When we finish the last round, we go to final scoring. First, count all the victory tokens you have. The player with the lowest gets the first pick from the end game bonus card. Second lowest will get the second pick, and so on. The railhead can be added to any unfinished tracks. The railway inspector counts as any commuter and gets same neighborhood scoring, and the mailbag and train work exactly the same. We'll get to them soon, I promise. Finished tracks, meaning they have a beginning and end with stations, count as such, based on track length and if same colored or different colored stations. A mailbag will double these victory points for the track it's on. Trains will garner you points if the track is on is adjacent to any unspent money token. The more you have, the more points you make. The player with the longest track will score extra points as well. And lastly, check to see if you've completed your objective cards for points. The player with the most points wins. Traintopia is very reminiscent of the board game classic Carcassonne in terms of tile laying and placing meeples. It plays in about the same amount of time as well. Now the draft element adds a little extra to the classic, but what really makes it stand out apart from the classic is the luck manipulation you have with the money token bonus actions. These can effectively change your objective card, score points on a track twice or even 3 times with the same color, or purchase a much needed bonus tiles, as these tracks are a little more special. That being said, I find it a little off balance that not using these money tokens for so few points at the end is not a viable strategy. These points here for the money token should definitely have been at least doubled. As it stands, use up those money tokens. It will just garner you more points. But it's an easy fix as we doubled these points for our playthrough and it worked much better. It makes us really wonder now if we should use up those money tokens or not. for that big endgame payoff. Now, the game is a nice light one, not so much a filler as it does take some time to play, and I honestly feel it could have been a little shorter, but the game is solid enough with our money point fix. But again, like I said, it is a solid game. Traintopia scores a 7 out of 10. Enjoyed our review? Like the video and subscribe. You can also find us on social media like Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Until next time.